Jones tells Spanning the State they can't meet student needs.
If a kid's not feeling like they're getting the support, the individualized support they need, or they act out because they're not getting the help and they're frustrated, then there's fewer adults to support them. Then it's just a continuing bad cycle.
Jones says rising costs make it harder to keep the staff they do have.
A school shooting prevented in Maryland. An 18-year-old high school student arrested Wednesday on a charge of threats of mass violence. Montgomery County Police Chief Marcus Jones.
This school year alone, we have received 140 threats to our schools in Montgomery County.
The accused teen wrote about carrying out the shooting in a 129-page manifesto.
We are still 6 months out from the presidential election, or 199 days to be exact.
What happens in 2024? Is it the economy? Is it the inflation?
TMJ4's chief political reporter Charles Benson reporting from the White House.
They're keenly aware that it still costs more today than when the president first went in.
Benson says the administration worked to sell how they are helping people's bottom line in the form of lower prescription drug costs, investing in infrastructure, and Inflation Reduction Act. Meanwhile, he says Trump's side is expected to highlight what has not been working. Julia Fellow, WTMJ News.
Well, could endless shrimp mean the end of Red Lobster?
If you love shrimp like I love shrimp, Red Lobster's Endless Shrimp is kind of a big deal.
You know how Red Lobster put its Endless Shrimp promotion on the menu permanently last year? While good for people who want to eat a whole lot of shrimp, it wasn't good for their bottom line. According to Bloomberg, the restaurant reported $11 million in losses and is struggling now. So much so, the chain's considering filing for bankruptcy amid growing debt because of that Endless Shrimp promo, plus the high cost of leases and labor. While the company hasn't made a final decision on if and when to file for bankruptcy, they are seeking legal help to figure out the next plan. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
A multi-state outbreak of salmonella leaves one person sick in Wisconsin. The outbreak is linked to fresh basil sold at Trader Joe's stores under the brand name Infinite Herbs. There are 11 cases of salmonella across 6 states linked to this outbreak. The Wisconsin Department of Health says if you bought the contaminated basil, throw it away immediately. If you've already eaten it and you're experiencing some symptoms, call a doctor right away.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow currently up 171 points at 37,947. The NASDAQ down 205 points at 15,393. And the S&P 500 also down today about 25 points at 49.86. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
Sports, traffic, and weather next. Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:05.
After a serious crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. Your future, your family's future, your quality of life. That's why knowledge and results matter in big truck cases. And not all law firms have the know-how or the resources to handle these complicated cases. At Gruber's Law Offices, we have the experience it takes to make sure you're protected. And there's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you tired of being tired? Go to adventknows.com.
There's so many things in life you must conform to.
So, it's nice to know that there's a sectional that conforms to you.
Meet the Simply Yours sectional sofa from Penny Mustard.
Simply amazing.
Create a configuration that fits your taste and space.
The options are simply endless.
Choose your favorite arms, legs, and fabric,
including leather or pet and kid-friendly fabrics.
Simply unique.
This sectional even comes with a sleeper sofa option for those late-night binge sessions.
This is the sofa made with you in mind.
The Simply Yours sectional is simply the best.
You know, this reminds me of my favorite nursery rhyme character.
Who's that?
Simply Simon.
The Simply Yours sectional sofa, sophisticrafted in Wisconsin, with ultra-high resiliency foam, cushions, and fortress frame construction, starting at $41.56 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All sports desk. Brewers begin a 7-game road trip tonight in St. Louis against the Cardinals. Coverage gets underway following the 6 o'clock news on WTMJ. NBA playoffs begin Saturday with 4 games on the schedule. The Bucks will wait until Sunday to kick things off against the Pacers. Our network coverage begins at 5:30 Sunday evening. Still no official word from the Bucks if Giannis will play. He missed the final 3 games of the regular season with a calf strain.
Let's check out your roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. If you are driving anywhere near American Family Field, I want you to take note on this one. The ramp from Brewers Boulevard North to I-94 East is closed right now due to maintenance. Once again, that's a ramp from Brewers Boulevard North to go to I-94 East. That's closed right now. I'm taking a peek at the cameras. I can see all the construction barrels out there, the construction cones, and a couple of people out there working on it right now. So just a heads up for that.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
While you're navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line. 414-238-9329.
Sunny for the bulk of the day, some clouds in the afternoon, breezy with a high of 54, partly cloudy tonight, chilly with a low of 34. We only hit 50 for your high on Saturday under partly cloudy skies, sunny and pleasant on Sunday with a high of 59. It's 48 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Well, we made it. It is Friday. Welcome in. It's Wisconsin's Midday News on WTMJ. Sunny start to the day. Going to be kind of cool this weekend, but we're drying out a little bit, Jessica. Very much a rain-filled and soaked week.
It was so nice driving into work. It was dry. The sun was out. Were you a little jarred when I went like this with my hands like, yes, when you said it's Friday?
Yeah.
Were you like, what's she doing?
Well, you share the sentiment of many,
yes.
I assume. Yes, we've made
Happy
it
Friday,
here.
everybody.
Happy Friday to one and all, no doubt. 2 hours here of Wisconsin's Midday News. A lot of big things to cover and some stories we're following here in the 11 o'clock hour.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, lawyers are focused today on picking alternates. When it comes to Donald Trump's hush money trial, jury selection could be nearing an end because they picked the panel of 12 jurors. They were seated yesterday. About 6 alternates are needed. If jury selection is completed today, opening arguments could happen as soon as Monday.
Lawyers in the case now need to find 5 alternate jurors who could decide the case if any of the 12 seated jurors bow out during the trial. 12 jurors and 1 alternate have already been sworn in, including a school teacher, an investment banker, a speech therapist, 2 lawyers, and a salesman. Opening statements in the case could begin as early as Monday. Peter Harlambus, ABC News.
A group of 22 potential jurors being questioned in court today about their background and beliefs about Trump. Prosecutors and Trump's attorneys will each get 25 minutes to question them. Each side has 2 strikes per alternate. That allows both sides to remove a potential alternate without cause. And stay with us, because coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to talk with ABC's Derek Dennis about those who have been picked. We don't know everything, but we do know a couple tidbits that are pretty interesting.
Hey, for the first time since 2024, or the first time in 2024, I should say, mortgage rates are over 7% on average. Not exactly the direction you'd like to see this go. 7.1% to be exact. That's the average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage, and the figure is up from 6.88% last week. It's the highest average rate since November of a year ago. In fact, a year ago, the average rate for a 30-year fix was 6.39%. Economists believe, at least on average here, that the rate for a 30-year mortgage will hold close to 7 throughout the spring and ease into the mid to high 6 range into the summer. What's it mean? Well, it likely means people are going to hang on to their houses for a little bit longer. It likely means a slowdown in the housing market, but inventory remains very tight. Some also believe that if you want that house, go get that house, because when interest rates do fall, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get that house. And then, of course, you can refinance. But it is a waiting game here on interest rates declining. In fact, they're going the wrong direction here on average for mortgage rates.
Number 3, Taylor Swift is at it again. Her new album is out. Fans celebrated Swift's midnight release of the Tortured Poets Department with listening parties and themed gatherings. Swift surprised fans at 1 o'clock this morning with news of 15 extra songs. I mean, this woman is just a powerhouse.
It's a machine.
She basically released a double album with 31 new songs in all.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Now, this is her 11th studio album. I saw Pearl Jam just released a new album. I think they've got 11 or 12, and they've been around since like 94. This is incredible.
Yeah, this is Taylor Swift's 11th studio album since 2006. The album features collabs with Post Malone and Florence and the Machine. I was up last night and took a peek when she released it right away at my X feed, and so I listened to the first song. I thought it was really good. I thought kind of seemed like she had a more mature voice on this particular album. The other thing I noted, she's so crisp. You can understand every word of her songs, and I really appreciate that. Because sometimes, don't you listen to a song and you're like, what did they say? Or you're singing something else because it sounds like it could be that. I feel like you can hear every single word that she sings on her song. Very crisp. A lot of people are pumped about this. Also, though, as I was listening this morning, I listened to a couple more as I was getting ready to come into work. She was swearing. There's like drum beating happening right now, not from the Taylor Swift song in our studio right now, which is very interesting. But yeah, so I was listening this morning. She had a couple songs where she was swearing a decent amount. That caught me off guard a little bit.
She's no longer a country pop singer, right? I mean, we're way done with that, right? I mean, that was so 2006.
Yeah, I hardly even remember that time, to be honest. Yeah, but even the songs where she was swearing a little bit, it was sung nice. Does that make sense? It was like, okay, it caught me off guard when I heard it, and then it was repeated and repeated and repeated, but I was also like, I kind of like this song.
Pretty impressive release. So in the middle of a world tour and conquering the world, she just drops a double album on people at midnight, and then a little bit more at 1 a.m. Incredible stuff. It's 11:14 on WTMJ.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Carbless Ready-to-Drink Cocktails.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
Well, get out of the house and do it with authority. Greg Matzik here for the Outdoor Authorities, Siding Unlimited, and the ways you can beautify your house with Outdoor Living Unlimited. That's right. They're a subsidiary company, Outdoor Living Unlimited, of Siding Unlimited. All there in one place, one great showroom in Brookfield, and all designed to make your yard into a living space and beautifying your home's exterior. Sharing that same showroom, that's where you want to be. They have an open house on Saturday, April 27th. It's coming up a week from tomorrow. Saturday, April 27th, 8 to 1. Put it on your calendar and make a trip out to Siding Unlimited's showroom in Brookfield. 665 Larry Court's where you're going to find it. It is near Gerke's Corners. Stop in from 8 to 1. Siding Unlimited, the best area installer of siding, of course, but they also do the roofs and the windows and the doors and the decks. Outdoor Living Unlimited turns your yard into patios and decks and fire pits, pavers, retaining walls, screen rooms, outdoor kitchens, even swimming pools. So bring your ideas, bring your motivations, bring some pictures along, and then connect with the folks at Siding Unlimited and Outdoor Living Unlimited. Their teams are always on site, ready to talk to you. But check out the open house, Saturday, April 27th from 8 to 1. It's sidingunlimited.com and outdoorlivingunlimited.com. Connect with them next week, Saturday, the 27th from 8 to 1.
Labor shortages, retention problems, it's been a challenging time for my business. But in Wisconsin, there's 600,000 people with disabilities who are ready to work right now. They just need you to believe in them and say yes. I did.
And once you say yes, Thinkability Wisconsin will be there, providing transition and workforce support for people with disabilities and their employers to help shape a better future for all. It all starts when you say yes. Join the movement at thinkabilitywi.org.
Sunny for the bulk of the day today. Clouds will start to roll in eventually. Only a high of about 54 degrees today. Pretty chilly overnight as well, with a low of about 37. Tomorrow we only get up to 50 under partly cloudy skies. Sunny and a little warmer on Sunday with a high of 58. But dry for the weekend here after a very rainy week. It is 48 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:17. Well, jury selection could be ending today in Donald Trump's hush money case. So yesterday about this time we had 7 confirmed jurors, and then by the end of the day it went down to 5. Now we're back to 12. They've found an alternate. More alternates need to be found. The process continues, and we welcome in ABC's Derek Dennis. Where do we stand here, Derek? How are things progressing today?
Progressing sort of slowly, actually. As you said, we have the 12 jurors seated as well as 1 alternate, but they need 5 more alternates in order for the judge to be satisfied, and that's why jury selection is continuing. The hope is that they'll be able to get the other 5 alternates by the end of the day today so that opening statements could start early next week. So we're watching it closely.
Do we know anything yet about the alternate? Because I know initially we had some very basic details about the jurors who were seated for the actual panel. Do we have any details on the alternate?
No, it's the same, and that's by design. The judge really is trying to protect the identities of the jurors, both those who are seated as well as the alternates, because he knows this is such a politically charged case made that way in part by the former president, who has at times lashed out at the process, at the judge, at the proceedings, and at a jury that would be seated to hear the evidence against him. And so the judge really taking steps to protect their identities, and that means that we won't get much information other than their basic occupations. We know that the jurors really run the gamut: a school teacher, several lawyers, a wealth manager, IT consultant, a speech therapist, a software engineer, so, and they're all from Manhattan. We know that, but that's basically all we are getting in terms of describing the jurors.
Well, and isn't the judge now asking the media not to report where they work, which I think is interesting because just a couple days ago, we were giving some of the basic details. And for one juror in particular, I was thinking as I was announcing some of the facts about her, I thought, if you knew her and you listened to me, you might know.
Right. And the judge, I think, is taking a cue from a couple of the jurors who were prospective jurors and declined to be seated because they were afraid that their identities would be revealed. And so the judge has pulled back even on some of the descriptions that he was allowing before, and is really keeping it very simple and not to detail who these jurors are to protect their identity and for security reasons.
How many strikes are left? Because I know each side, the defense, the prosecution, has the ability to look at a potential juror and say, nope, they're out with no cause.
Right. Yeah, it's unclear because there've been a number back and forth, and now that we're in the alternate phase, it's even more unclear. But the bottom line is, by the end of the day, they're hoping to have the other 5 alternate jurors seated. They've got enough now to start the trial with the 12 jurors, but the alternates are pretty key, especially because this trial could go a while. And there is at any point the opportunity, or at least the chance, the fear that one juror could drop out, get sick, or anything could happen. And so the alternates are very important.
It's ABC's Derek Dennis. Derek, have a great weekend. We'll check in again soon.
Oh, sure. You too.
It's 11:21 on WTMJ. So in our 3 Big Things segment, Jessica, you mentioned you thought you were hearing a drum beat in your headset.
Oh, I knew I was.
I
just
what the heck
didn't
are you
know
talking
who
about?
exactly was out there. And then all of a sudden during our report with Derek Dennis, I see somebody coming with a huge drum just beating it. beating it, and then there's a parade of people. It's for the Bucs.
Yeah, so there's some sort of Bucs parade happening here at our 3rd Street Market Hall studios. So people are just cruising around, all decked out in Bucs gear. Obviously, the playoffs begin this weekend, and on Sunday, in fact, we'll talk to Bucs President Peter Fagan coming up at 11:37. I did not see him out there.
I was not expecting
Did not see him
that.
with a drum.
And I'll tell you what, I'm usually pretty good about if things are going on, just not paying attention to it and staying in the zone. But this was kind of ridiculous.
Well, we had our music playing in our Three Big Things segment. I had a little Taylor Swift music playing, and then a drum beat came out of nowhere. Well, now we understand where the drum beat is coming from.
About 10 people going by with drums, and then they're yelling and they're shaking. Go Bucs! Fear the deer!
So if you're getting
love that.
If you're getting some sushi today at the Market Hall, you'll likely get a rally towel as well. It's 11:22 on WTMJ. We'll get a weekend forecast. Check after this.
For the latest on Capitol Hill, tune in to CBS's chief Washington correspondent, Major Garrett.
The Republican Party is one of our two major parties. It is a structural reality in American politics. And if most voters in that party believe that charges brought against former President Trump are so illegitimate that even if he were convicted, it would make no difference to occupy the presidency of the United States, then it says something about the country and the Republican Party.
Thursdays at 3:45 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
NBA playoffs begin in earnest on Saturday. Boy, it's a great time to download Underdog Fantasy app and get started with their Pick'em game. Combine the NBA with Major League Baseball or maybe some golf, and you can be in the money at Underdog Fantasy. So what is it? Well, it's a Pick'em game, quite simply, and it's got fantasy components, Underdog Fantasy. Download the app, use the promo code WTMJ, and Underdog Fantasy will match your first deposit up to $100. Then it's up to you to select higher or lower on player stats. All you have to do is pick between 2 to 5 players from at least 2 different teams. Damian Lillard, early line on his stats for Sunday indicate 26.5 points. Do you like higher or lower on that? What about Rory McIlroy this weekend playing golf? Do you like higher or lower than 68 strokes? Interesting stuff. Well, just get those selections right, and you'll be in the money. At Underdog Fantasy, promo code WTMJ. Yes, it's legal in Wisconsin. It's a blast to play. I've done some fantasy games with my friends. Sometimes, and I should say most of the time, I go off and sort of do my own thing. I create my own pick'em entry, selecting higher or lower on player stats. Promo code WTMJ. They'll match your first deposit up to $100 at Underdog Fantasy and offer a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. It's kind of a freebie. That'll get you started off right. Underdog Fantasy must be 18 years or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Download the app or register online. Underdog Fantasy, promo code WTMJ.
We find the best way to protect and uphold the reputation of our business is to hire good people and then take care of them. We really do love the people that work for us, and we care about what's in their best interest. And what that means to you is this: who do you really want on your job? Someone who's maybe underpaid or doesn't feel appreciated, might not have paid vacations or great work benefits? Our folks have all of these things and more. Vito and I make sure they feel appreciated, because happy people do happy work. There's a culture we're building here at Semper Fi that brings respect back to a very hard job. And that's why we know that our crews are going to do the kind of work that you expect. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
We're starting to dry out a little bit. The weekend looks dry as well. When will the showers return? We welcome in TMJ4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson. Hey, Brendan.
Yeah, hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, good. Let's start with this weekend because we know the Bucs play on Sunday, and the Deer District expected to be a packed place to hang out. What are we looking at for Sunday, especially around the time where people would be gathering downtown?
Yeah, so it looks like we'll have lots of sunshine around for Sunday there in the Deer District. You know, it won't be as breezy as it's been today. We've been registering wind gusts anywhere between about 25 to 35 miles per hour so far. So the winds will be a little bit lighter. It'll still be pretty sunny, and we're looking at temperatures topping out on Sunday in the upper 50s. And then we'll look for those numbers to start falling back, though, into the evening as everybody starts heading to Deer District. So probably lower 50s.
Ooh, it's going to be an exciting time on Sunday. Brendan, I also wanted to ask about frost because I saw the word frost in the TMJ4 forecast today.
Yes. Yeah, so we're getting to that point of the year where I know a lot of folks have probably gone out, maybe already bought some flowers. They're putting them out, and some may have already been a bit risky and planted them. We're still not out of the woods yet. We've got temperatures this weekend falling back into the 30s. I think Lakeside, for the most part, should be just above that freezing mark, but still could see a little bit of some frost. You go farther inland, looking more likely to see those numbers at or just below the freezing mark, so maybe 30, 31 degrees, both Saturday and I would say even especially Sunday morning, or it could be particularly chilly.
Okay, you guys warned us because I know we had that nice stretch of weather and so many people were like, I want to get to planting, and you guys said don't do it. So I'm glad for the people who listened.
Yeah, I know, it gets into the 70s, it hits almost close to 80, and then everyone rushes to the garden centers and they just start buying the flowers. And look, I get it. Yeah. It's nice. It puts you in the mood. But yeah, it is still too early. Actually, the 22nd, Monday, is actually the average last freeze in the city of Milwaukee. So on average, when you take all of the history, that's usually when we see the last 32 or degree or lower low temperature. But we've had freezes, guys, as late as, mid to late May. So it's it just kind of depends.
Looking forward to a good weekend here, Brendan. We appreciate your time. We'll check in again soon.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Brendan.
It's 11:28 on WTMJ. We'll get you news after this.
Gene Miller here. Springtime. Better start thinking about those home improvement projects. Now's the time to call my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. Update your home's curb appeal and build equity with energy-efficient replacement windows and doors from brands like Pella, Anderson, Marvin, and more. Hometown can also customize your project. They're your local source for wood, vinyl, or fiberglass windows and doors. Stop into their newly remodeled showroom in New Berlin to see the Hometown difference. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. HometownWindows.com.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores seem to always have a great selection of women's summer clothing. Every year I check out their new selection, and I can usually find great deals on a cute pair of shorts or capris or a pretty sundress. And they always seem to have a few tank tops I like too. Plus, buying gently used clothing is like recycling, so I help the environment. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
It's 11:30. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. Your top story, searching on Lake Michigan.
I'm Jessica Ty. Not safe for leaf burning.
Sunny with some clouds today, a high of 54. It's currently 49 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. 3 hardline Republicans now say they will support a recall vote for House Speaker Mike Johnson. Representative Paul Gosar, the latest. Enough Republicans to oust Johnson without Democrats crossing party lines in a vote. Johnson under fire for moving ahead on separate foreign aid bills for Israel, Ukraine, Taiwan, and U.S. border funding. A vote is expected tomorrow. Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries says there's no more time for delays.
For months, the American people have had their national security interests placed on whole.
The votes on foreign aid come as a widening conflict brews in the Middle East. Israel launching 3 missiles overnight targeting a key radar defense system for Iran. That in response to Iran's missile and drone attack this weekend. Volatile storms are moving out of the U.S. after a week of tornado outbreaks in much of the Midwest and South. A rain, though, still on tap for the East Coast. This is ABC News.
Sighting Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:31. A sonar boat is out on Lake Michigan continuing the search for human remains. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office confirms the boat is, quote, in the vicinity where human remains connected to Shanae Robinson were found on Thursday. The teen was allegedly killed by Maxwell Anderson. Anderson charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and arson of property other than building in connection with Robinson's death.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Outdoor Living Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
This is a 2024 Jeffrey Dahmer.
The mother of a 19-year-old Milwaukee woman who was murdered and dismembered is speaking out. Sheena Scarborough, mother of Shanae Robinson, tells Crime Stories with Nancy Grace she's living a nightmare. She's now vowing to fight for justice as her family deals with the tragedy.
This has caused so much emotional effect to my family, my parents who love my baby so much, her grandparents, her uncles, her aunties, the community. Everyone has pulled up. This has affected many people in Milwaukee.
Friends and family are also joining investigators in the search for the rest of Robinson's body.
A smuggling conspiracy leads to 5 prison employees resigning or being fired from Waupun Correctional Institution. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports 6 other employees are on administrative leave since May of 2023. This all comes amid a probe from the U.S. Department of Justice after a DOC sweep of housing units last summer uncovered banned items including cell phones, drugs, and other contraband. No word on whether charges have been filed in the case or what type of positions the employees held at the prison.
This is National Work Zone Awareness Week. As part of all the events, a special commemoration is planned.
It's a big national thing, and they do take a moment of silence to recognize all of the fallen workers that have been killed in our work zones and give that moment of silence so they are remembered each year.
Statewide Work Zone Operations Engineer with the Wisconsin DOT, Aaron Schwark, says there's more we can do.
Adhere to the speed limit as they're going through that work zone. We do have lane closures. Just want to make sure they're paying attention and can avoid those rear-end type crashes.
That, along with eliminating distractions, are just a few of the things we can do to make sure no more deaths happen in work zones. Debbie Lazaga, WTMJ News.
We'll avoid outdoor burning this weekend. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources making this request because of elevated fire dangers. Even with all the recent rain, much of the state vegetation is dead and dry, so the weekend stretch of warmer temps and breezy conditions increases potential fire risk. Over the past week, the DNR responded to 122 wildfires burning nearly 340 acres, the most active week of the season.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time on this Friday is 11:34.
Make this summer the best one yet. Let Fox World Travel plan your next family vacation. Whether it's a magical Disney escape, an all-inclusive resort in paradise, or a thrilling European adventure, we offer exclusive savings for your family. Enjoy exciting activities, educational experiences, or peaceful retreats where you can relax and recharge with our trusted partners like Globus Family of Brands, Disney, and Insight Vacations. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO to start planning your summer vacation today.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. Whether you're ready to build your dream yard or get out on the water, we get you the right products at the right prices. Like a 22-inch Yard Force push mower powered by Briggs & Stratton, only $279.99. Staybill gasoline stabilizer, $10.99 a quart. Gojo Natural Orange Hand Cleaner with pumice, just $11.99 a gallon. And save $40 on a lifetime Kenai sit-on-top kayak, $259.99. We get you outdoors because we get you at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Brewers begin a 7-game road trip tonight in St. Louis against the Cardinals. Our coverage gets underway following the 6 o'clock news on WTMJ. And 4 games are on the NBA playoff schedule for tomorrow. Bucks are going to have to wait, however, until Sunday evening to take on the Pacers in Game 1 of their best-of-7 series. Still unclear if Giannis will be able to play through a calf strain.
With your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic, our construction spot, I-43 southbound Brown Deer Road to downtown, that's a 3-minute delay this afternoon. Our other construction spot, 894 westbound, the Mitchell interchange, the Hale interchange, that is currently a 2-minute delay. I also want to let you know about a ramp that is closed in a busy spot. The ramp from Brewers Boulevard North to I-94 East, that's closed right now due to maintenance. Once again, Brewers Boulevard North to I-94 East. That ramp right there by the stadium, it's closed right now. They've got to do some work.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The successful Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring positive professional servers and bartenders. You'll make great cash. Inquire today. Start next week. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
Sunny for the bulk of the day. Might see some clouds roll in a little later on. A high of 56 degrees. Overnight low of 37. Might see some frost in the morning when you wake up. Then partly cloudy skies will top out about 50 degrees on Saturday. 56 and sunny on Sunday. It's 49 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:38. So the Bucks begin the playoffs on Sunday. Game 1 of a best-of-7 series against the Indiana Pacers. And already we are seeing signs of the pregame, if you will, here at our 3rd Street Market Hall Studios. Yeah, so during the middle of our newscast, what is that drum beat? What is happening here?
It was loud and it was long.
And a Milwaukee Bucks drum line just rolled through the 3rd Street Market Hall. I thought this was maybe organized by Bucks president Peter Fagan, who joins us on the line right now. I did not see Peter with a drum out in the drum line or handing out rally towels. I'm a little surprised, Peter. I thought you'd be a part of that.
Unfortunately, completely not blessed with rhythm. Totally good with it, totally understand it. Like the drum line, we've been together early mornings this week on doing some fun stuff, and they've actually, they want nothing to do with me.
Well, you'll be happy to know they brought the energy. I mean, they came by the studio, they had the rally towels, they were banging, they were all smiley, so they're bringing it. They're ready to go for Sunday.
Love that.
So we had Dustin Godsey in here the other day, and he was commenting on how nice it was to have this little ramp up. You get about a week. You know that you'll have a home game or a home couple of games to start off the playoffs. It's great for Dustin. The 1-week layoff, is it bad for Peter, good for the team? Bad for Peter, bad for the team? Is it in any way good for Peter?
Oh, that's the greatest way to ask, and almost it's the same answer. Sometimes it's great, sometimes here's more anxiety. Oh, too much to think about. Oh my God, can we get to start playing? Oh, are we rest? Are we getting too complacent? Are we getting too excited? It's a long time to overthink everything. I mean, to be honest, I would love to get to the games. I love the week of planning, as Dustin said, and building up the momentum. But it really kind of builds up. Where you want to get into the second season of playoffs. For me, as soon as you can. It's way too much anticipation and anxiety to get it going.
Peter, what are your thoughts right now on Giannis? Any update? We all want him to be in that first game. We understand if he can't be, but man, we want him in it.
Yeah, I think we all would love him, and I think it's day by day. I mean, listen, Giannis is as I was telling my mother last night, he is superhuman. It's true. This guy recovers, works harder, and kind of has the mentality unlike so many others. But it's a wait and see. So we will wait and see. And with the thought of hey, listen, we've got to, with or without him, we've got to play to win Game 1 at home, and that's kind of the focus.
Was your mother pumping you for information last night? Did she call call you and say, Peter, come on now.
She's the extra worrier. She's like why you want the games to start right away, because she'll give you, half a dozen calls on like, well, what's going on? How's Dame? How are they shooting? How are we going to play defense? I'm like, all good, Mom.
All amid her book tour, right? Is she still doing her book tour?
Oh yeah. Big event in New York last week. It's firing away. It's very exciting. She's on the pulse of the publishing world.
So what's next as far as fans go? And are any yard signs still available? I thought that was kind of cool. People
Lots
can pick
of
up
yard signs available. Like we have, and you can opt in online at bucks.com to get it, as well as like social. For us, this is like the build-up. So this is like game by game, week by week. It just like the excitement, the interest just continues to kind of snowball. So and how do you play that, and how do you run that, and kind of like, as you guys know on production, it's like what your content plans are and what your activations are. How do we create the Deer District? Is like continuing to be a destination. How do we create kind of a state and regional presence for fandom? And then as you go further on, it gets a lot of fun because it becomes global fast. As it goes across the world, in a march towards a championship.
Bucks President Peter Feigin joining us on Wisconsin's Midday News. So I'll give all credit here to former Packers offensive tackle Mark Tauscher for the idea here, Peter. But the last day of the regular season was very strange. You had so many teams that didn't really know going into the day where they would end up with playoff seeding, and the Bucks were included in that mix, and it was kind of a wild finish. Tauscher believes that the NBA playoff format would get a boost if the top seed got to pick its opponent in round number 1. And then the number 2 seed gets to pick from the remaining pool of teams.
Oh, man.
Do you like this idea?
I mean, creatively, I love the idea. As a member of the league, like, no way, to go. But, yeah, I mean, Tauscher goes kudos with the great thinking. It would get great interest. It would definitely change, depending on the makeup of your team. Like, are you a big team? Are you a fast team? Are you offensive? Are you defensive? For a distinct advantage. But I kind of like, the one thing that's legit in the regular season is like you're really fighting for things like home court advantage. You're fighting for kind of your opponent. You're fighting for people, if you're a highly seeded team, you're playing the less, successful teams during the year. But I love the idea.
Peter, back at the end of February, I was at an event for season ticket holders where you said, in regards to Giannis and Dame, we still have all of our chips in that this is Kobe and Shaq. Do you still feel that way today?
Yeah, I got it. And it'll sound like I'm delusionally optimistic. Like, it continues to build. So, like, if you're a stat geek and you love to watch, like, what the number of pick and rolls are and what the offensive efficiency, the numbers prove, like, it's only getting better. Like, you wish you could push the melding button so they were kind of glued and had years together and kind of like in one season could be at a different, but they continue every game they play together. It's improved stats, whether it's points per possession and points per pick and roll and things like that. So yeah, I'm a big fan. And when John Horst, and ownership and all of us sat around and talked about this, the vision was not, it was not, brain surgery on thinking about how, having an outside presence like Dame and a unstoppable presence like Giannis could play together and just make it like an unmatchable combination like in the league. And I think that continues to kind of build. Unfortunately, we just haven't had everybody play together as much as we'd like during the season because it's really been kind of erratic.
Well, you did get us jazzed because you followed up by, this is how we pick and roll like it's not been done before. This is how we win better than we've ever won before. This is how we win in the playoffs. And here we are just days away from the Milwaukee Bucks being back in the playoffs.
Yeah, and this is a different season. So this is when it really comes down to every possession means something. You better play defense, a lot more pressure. What does it mean to have a veteran team? So, this is the fun.
Well, and get down to the arena area early. Get down to the Deer District. It's going to be a nice day on Sunday, Peter. So you never know in April, but Sunday looks great. So get down and enjoy it all day, right, whether you're going to the game or not.
Absolutely. And again, this is like, how do we create this kind of momentum as we go forth? And there's such a great groundswell of Bucks fandom. This should be a fun period of time as we get into the spring of Bucks playoffs.
I'm kind of hoping we can break another record here in the playoffs, because this season, especially at the beginning, it just seemed like every game there was a new record, either a record for an individual player or a record for the Bucks as a team.
I love it. I think the players love it. The franchise loves it. It's kind of a testament to, again, I mean, some of those records, like Dame came in and kind of added to his 3-point scoring.
Sure.
We've got total points, assists, rebounds with Giannis. It's kind of surreal, like unbelievable numbers. Still like relatively young in career. But I said one of the nice things about what we have here is very rarely have two guys like Chris and Giannis, played together for 10 years. And that's part of the specialness of like all these records kind of rolling up and coming to fruition this year. So I love it. I think that's just so much fun.
Well, records are meant to be broken. I especially enjoy when playoff records are broken. That means some great things are happening. And it starts on Sunday. You'll see Peter walking around the arena. I don't know if you'll sleep on Saturday night, Peter. You might be just riding 24 hours straight going into Sunday.
No, I think the best time for sleep would be, I'd say the game will end, just about 8:30, 9 o'clock on Sunday night. And I'd say if everything's successful with a great win, I'd say 10 o'clock's an easy, dead asleep for a while.
Perfect. Right. Well, enjoy it. You'll have earned it. No doubt about that. Peter, we appreciate your time, and we'll talk soon.
Go Bucks. Thank you.
You bet. Bucks. Peter Fagan, Bucks president, joining us here. It's 11:47 on WTMJ. So coverage of the game on Sunday will essentially begin after our Brewers Radio Network coverage, so a full day of sports on Sunday as we roll from Brewers into Bucks, but tip time scheduled for 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. It's 11:48.
There are surgeons lining up to be the one to do your joint replacement. But my advice? Exhaust all your options and put off joint replacement as long as you can. Make it your very last resort, because life after joint replacement isn't always what it's cracked up to be. As high as 30% of patients who have undergone joint replacement surgery report unsatisfactory results. And the cost, even with insurance, can be extraordinary. At Rejuvenex, we'll help ease your pain and improve your mobility with FDA-approved pharmacological treatments that precisely target where your pain lives. And by easing your pain and inflammation, we'll help you live a better life. And because we're in network with most major insurance plans, your out-of-pocket expense could be very affordable. Or nothing at all. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics, where we can alleviate your pain and rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Hey, I know it's getting to be about that time, about the lunch hour, and you might already be thinking about dinner. That's right. Well, why not make it a Palermo's night? That's easy, it's fun, it's delicious. It's Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza, sold wherever you like to shop, and delicious. Festival foods, Pick and Save, Sendik's, Piggly Wiggly, Woodman's, wherever you go. You'll stop by, and you'll find Palermo's, right where you like to find pizza. Best frozen pizza you can find is Palermo's. I'm a big screaming Sicilian fan, overflowing with toppings, but I certainly enjoy the urban pie, the Connie's, the Surfer Boy pizza, which is new and delicious. Neighborhood pizzeria pizza. That might have the best sauce of them all. And my wife loves the Primo Thin. There's even a breakfast pizza if you want to go that route. Make tomorrow morning easier as you're getting the kids rushed around. It's Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza, found wherever you like to shop, and celebrating its 60th anniversary in 2024. That is decade upon decade of doing it the right way. This proud Wisconsin company with a national footprint. It's fantastic. It's Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
One of the best things about being in business for 25 years is having clients recommend AccuNet to their now adult children for help buying their first homes. That's how I connected with Dan and Allison, and let me tell you, they were fast learners. They quickly embraced our most powerful tool for winning offers, Appraisal Wiggle Room. Their first offer was $15,000 over asking and included a provision which AccuNet guaranteed they could afford to make, that they would still pay the higher offer price even if the appraised value came in up to $15,000 short. The result? Accepted offer versus several others on the very first try. And by the way, if the appraisal had come in 15 grand short, which it did not, Dan and Allison would have needed exactly $0 extra at the closing table. If you think all mortgage lenders are the same, think again. Go with a multi-generation mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. Brands from Carhartt to Milwaukee to Purina to Goodyear to Rapala to Levi's and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
A historic trial begins in New York. Caitlin Clark cooks at the podium and behind the desk. A double album, Taylor's version, and more. All that in the Weekend Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
What we do here is go back.
All I can do is tell the truth. And the truth is that there's no case. They have no case.
12 jurors have been selected to determine Donald Trump's legal fate in his New York hush money case.
These seasoned, experienced judges are saying, you can go up to this line, you go beyond it, you are going to pay a price.
The whole world is watching this hoax.
A Milwaukee firefighter fighting third-degree burns after a deadly fire on the south side Sunday morning.
I am telling you, we were probably 30 seconds away from talking about planning a firefighter funeral.
Dale Spas, if you want to start heading over to Five Guys, we got a report of a motor vehicle stuck with a child in the back seat.
It's Milwaukee's time to shine.
Another 4 years in store for Mayor Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to work.
Visit Milwaukee's former logo was the Calatrava from the Milwaukee Art Museum. The new logo, a heart separated by 3 lines meant to represent the city's heartbeat and vibrant energy.
What's this one? It's a couple of wavy lines.
There is an elephant in the road. Fully in view.
The circus elephant got loose.
Elephant walking down the road. Oh my God.
Went for a nice slow walk down Harrison, but man, they move fast when they just walk.
Wow, they really do make a trap remix for everything, huh?
Yeah! If you're in a nursing home, you only have 5-6 month life expectancy. Almost nobody in a nursing home is in a point to vote.
First off, you ought to try living in a nursing home.
Do you actually believe that Eric Huffey meant that elderly people in nursing homes shouldn't vote?
Do you
actually believe
John,
that?
Yes, you heard him. You heard him say it yourself.
He meant that.
The lengths people will go to say these are his words. They came out of his mouth.
I know anybody would think that. Though.
They came out of his mouth, and you say, "Do I really think he said that?" He did say it. You just heard it.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
The Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
The University of Iowa announced that basketball star Caitlin Clark will have her jersey retired and replaced with an apron.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Here to comment is Caitlin Clark.
Since you're such a big fan, I brought you a souvenir. It's an apron signed by me.
Boom. Roasted.
Unlike Che, I support women.
A homicide investigation underway in Milwaukee after a missing woman's body was found on the city's north side.
41-year-old Tamika Stewart was found dead near the intersection of 29th and Ruby.
New human remains discovered along a remote stretch of a tree-lined beach along Lake Michigan.
A torso and arm were found early this morning near Marina Road and 5th Avenue in South Milwaukee by a person walking along the beach.
Now, am I going to come down here and be the next one that's going to find more body parts?
Shantae Robinson's mother speaking out as Milwaukee County investigators continue to search for her daughter's remains.
This son of a took my daughter. I need justice for Sade.
Ron is said to have fired air defense batteries as explosions could be heard near a major airbase near Isfahan.
The United States has not been involved in any offensive operations.
Taylor Swift's new album, The Tortured Poets Department, dropped at midnight.
Whoa, just take it easy, man.
Swifties arise. So in our 3 big things segment, Jessica, you mentioned you thought you were hearing a drum beat in your headset.
I knew I was.
I was like,
just
what the heck
didn't
are you
know
talking
who
about?
exactly was out there. And then all of a sudden, during our report with Derek Dennis, I see somebody coming with a huge drum, just beating it, and then there's a parade parade of people. It's for the Bucks.
Yeah, so there's some sort of Bucks parade happening here at our 3rd Street Market Hall studios. So people are just cruising around all decked out in Bucks gear. We'll talk to Bucks President Peter Fagan coming up at 11:37. I did not see him out there.
Unfortunately, completely not blessed with rhythm.
Ain't got rhythm. What are we, gay?
If I were you, I'd be annoyed by me.
Smile.
You don't have a girlfriend.
Pancake special.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
The new fractured boulders we now have in stock are really nice. They're squarer and more rectangular in shape, and they're great for building dry-laid retaining walls. They're much easier to deal with, lock together nicely, and you get less gaps. No wet mortar needed. And we've stocked a multitude of colors. You can use them as an accent item to add character to your dry river or creek beds, too. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Our organic mulch is comprised of all trees. Most mulch is made from ground-up pallets, and you don't know what might have been spilled on those pallets. Could be chemicals or who knows what. But not our mulch, we're recycling trees. Many species of hardwoods. Cedar, hemlock, light brown, dark brown, mocha, black, red, gold, and caramel. 7 colors to choose from means a mulch to match any exterior. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Well, right in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, there is an all-new Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Have you been there recently? Hey, it's Greg Matzek. I have been, and it's fantastic. It's beautiful. They've done incredible work at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. You know about the tables, right? They've got plenty. They've got 12 bars and restaurants. Maybe you've dined at one or two. But there's new ones, like the Rockin' Brews. Check it out. A winning seat at a table, nearly 40 of them, and 3,000 slot machines are available to you. They still have bingo. They still have full-service sports betting, kiosks, and what's to come? How about that brand-new sports book? It's coming in May. You'll want to be there to check it out. Light up your senses at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Check them out online at paysbig.com. That's paysbig.com. Can't wait for the sports book to open. They're going to have a big-time event going on in early May that we'll be a part of. More details on that to follow. Check out the sports book, a new era of sports betting at the beautiful and new, relatively designed Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Smoke-free and ready for you to check out. It's Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Hope to see you there.
Outdoor Living Unlimited turns yards into patios and decks, fire pits, pavers, retaining walls, even screen rooms, outdoor kitchens, and swimming pools. Come see it all at the unique outside-in Gerke's Corner showroom they share with Siding Unlimited at their open house, Saturday, April 27th from 8 to 1. Bring your ideas, motivation, and questions to the product reps at the open house and meet the Outdoor Living Unlimited team. Check sidingunlimited.com and outdoorlivingunlimited.com and then get to the open house, Saturday, April 27th, 8 to 1.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Why is abbreviation such a long word?
That, my friend, is one of life's unanswerable questions.
I mean, you'd think someone could make it shorter.
Oh, you mean like instead of saying buy one, get one, you can just say BOGO.
Yeah, kinda.
Through Monday at Hasselus Mattress, buy a new Sealy Posturepedic, Serta Perfect Sleeper, or Beauty Rest mattress, and we'll give you a free box spring or an equal amount off an adjustable base.
Or, in other words,
BOGO.
Right.
Plus, free next day delivery and employee-free showrooms.
You mean I don't have to deal with pushy salespeople?
No.
So I can try out all the mattresses
solo.
And through Monday, I can
BOGO.
You're a man of few words. I like that.
Buy a new Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect Sleeper and get a free box spring or an equal amount off an adjustable base. Now through Monday at Hasselus Mattress. Find a self-service showroom near you or shop online at hasselus.com.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlands.
Nearing retirement? Are you best prepared for your post-workforce life? Have all of your questions answered in Annex Wealth Management's latest webinar, Understanding Your Pension Potential. WTMJ's Steve Scafidi, along with Annex Wealth Management Financial Planning Team Manager Eric Strom, will cover every angle of retirement and how to best set yourself up for a successful and fruitful retirement. Sign up for this free webinar at WTMJ.com. It's the Annex Wealth Management's Pension Potential webinar, only offered here on WTMJ.
1-1, ground ball through the left side and into left field. Terrain around third. He's headed for home. Profar's throw to the plate is not in time.
Time for a good old divisional matchup in the shadow of the arch. The Brewers are in St. Louis to take on the Cardinals. Our coverage of the series begins tonight at 6 with Brewers warm-up on your home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 12:01, it is 48 degrees. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, April 19th. Your top story, searching for a boat. For more information.
I'm Jessica Ty. 2 tragic anniversaries.
Sunny today, some clouds in the PM. Breezy with a high of 54. Tonight, partly cloudy, chilly with a low of 34. Partly cloudy for your Saturday will top out at 50 degrees. It's 49 and breezy in Milwaukee at 12:01 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom. A sonar boat is out on Lake Michigan continuing the search for human remains. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office confirms the boat launched in the area of Warnemont Park and heading in the direction where human remains connected to Sade Robinson were found in South Milwaukee on Thursday. The teen was allegedly killed by Maxwell Anderson. Anderson charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and arson of property other than a building in connection with Robinson's death.
An early morning bus crash leaves 1 person dead and 7 others hurt. It happened at 35th and Capitol. A car with 4 people went through a red light, then crashed with a Milwaukee County Transit bus. The driver of the car died right there at the scene. The 3 passengers in the car are all in serious condition. Everyone on the bus is expected to be okay.
Well, student behavior is to blame for a pier that collapsed into Lake Mendota near the Memorial Union Terrace last year. Dozens of UW students fell into the water last Labor Day when the pier collapsed. School released a report today saying several warnings were given to the 80 students who were on that pier, but investigators found their collective behavior prompted the pier to buckle. Roughly 20 people were hurt.
Decision, Wisconsin. The VP is coming to the Badger State. Vice President Kamala Harris will be in La Crosse on Monday. This will be her 3rd trip to the state this year after visiting Madison last month. And you can hear Vice President Harris today at 2:15 on Spanning the State.
And there are 199 days left until the presidential election.
TMJ4's chief political reporter Charles Benson tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News by the time it's all over, both sides will call our state
home away from home.
Benson, reporting from the White House, tells us the president's senior advisors were touting lower prescription drugs and the Inflation Reduction Act. But he believes Trump will ask
why it still costs more to go to the gas pump, to buy groceries.
Julia Fellow, WTMJ News.
And tomorrow marks 25 years since the tragic shooting at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado. 12 students and 1 teacher died when a pair of students opened fire during the school day. Author David Cullen wrote the book Columbine. He talks about the lasting impacts from that day.
We found 54 shootings since then where there's evidence, the killers left evidence that they were directly inspired or copying Columbine. And that's just the ones we know. Most people die in the act, so we don't know. And there's at least twice as many of that who tried and didn't. So these people are directly following Columbine.
Today marks another national tragedy anniversary, the 29th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing that killed 168, including 50 children.
The initial fundraising goals for a Waukesha Parade Memorial met. Construction should begin in May. The goal is to complete the memorial by November 21st, the 3rd anniversary of the tragedy. Any new donations will go to establishing a maintenance fund for the memorial.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow currently down 215 points at 37,991. The NASDAQ lagging 208 points at 15,388. S&P 500 back below 5,000, down 25 points today at 49.87. It's a great time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Check out AnnexWealth.com. Click on the Get Started button today.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sunny Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:05.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Another MVP has joined the roster at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Ryan Stefanchak.
Board certified in sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation, Dr. Stefanchak specializes in non-operative treatment of the spine, chronic pain, all joints, all musculoskeletal problems, and more, emphasizing holistic care first, with a focus on diet, sleep, stress management, and social connections for a patient's well-being. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference.
Right now, the prices of diamonds are probably the lowest we'll see in our lifetime.
Diamond prices are low, low, low. Here's why.
It was hard to meet new people during COVID.
When a person meets their soulmate, they usually get engaged about 39 months later.
People started dating again only about 36 months ago.
Most of the people who got engaged during COVID
or immediately after COVID
were already in a relationship before the COVID lockdown began.
The Wall Street Journal even published a story about all of this.
Low sales of engagement rings created a worldwide oversupply of diamonds.
But now, engagement ring sales are beginning to pick up again.
By the end of next spring, this temporary oversupply will be gone.
And diamond prices will start climbing like crazy.
If you ever wanted to own a big diamond, this is the year to do it.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
If you want to own a big diamond, the time is now.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers back in action tonight, beginning a 7-game road trip in St. Louis against the Cardinals. Coverage gets underway following the 6 o'clock news on WTMJ. NBA playoffs ramp up Saturday with 4 games on the schedule. You'll have to wait till Sunday to watch the Bucks and Pacers in Game 1 of their best-of-7 series. Coverage gets underway Sunday evening at 5:30 here on WTMJ.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. We were just talking about a ramp that was closed for some maintenance over by American Family Field. Well, now I got something new for you over there as I take a peek at what the latest is right here. I-94 West at 175 South, Brewers Boulevard. The right shoulder blocked now due to a crash, which makes me wonder if they had that ramp closed down because of the maintenance they were doing and then somebody wasn't paying attention and crashed. Either way, bottom line, I-94 West at 175 South, Brewers Boulevard, right shoulder blocked due to a crash.
Breezy conditions today, sunny by and large with a high of about 56 degrees. Overnight low just south of 40 degrees. You might even see some frost on the ground in the morning. We top out at 50 under partly cloudy skies on Saturday, 56 and sunny on Sunday. 49 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Hour number 2 of the Friday edition of Wisconsin's Midday News. Greg and Jessica with you until 1 o'clock today. Some great stories coming up here later in the hour, including a very interesting bit of audio and video aboard the Colorado Rockies charter flight.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Not one of the stories we're covering in our Now at Noon, but we'll get to it. I promise you that. Some interesting audio, and United Airlines is investigating just what the heck happened.
Yeah,
we'll
that one's a little jarring. Coming up in a couple minutes. Right now, though, the NBA playoffs finally here. Game starts Saturday for 8 teams. Game 1 for the Bucks is Sunday. They take on the Indiana Pacers here at home. Game 2 is Tuesday. That's also at Pfizer Forum. The series then moves to Indianapolis for games 3 and 4. So if you're marking it on your calendar, games 3 and 4, that would be next Friday and Sunday. An ESPN report this week suggests the Bucks are preparing to play without Giannis, but the team has not ruled him out yet. And we were just talking in our last hour with Bucks President Peter Feigin. We also asked him if there's any update. Not yet. It's just kind of a wait and see and fingers crossed for sure.
I remember what I witnessed a few years back when the Bucks won the championship. I saw Giannis's leg bend the wrong way against the Atlanta Hawks.
Knee.
And he did miss some time in that series. But the fact that he came back and played in game one of the finals in Phoenix, I remember being in Phoenix, and Giannis and Chris Middleton trotted out for their pregame warm-up like it was just a normal day.
And you're like, oh my gosh, Giannis is out there
Like,
and he's looking okay.
How in the world is he on the floor right now doing anything? And that was a big secret.
Wild.
Will he play? Will he not? Nobody was saying anything. I saw him come back from an injury that defied logic. It totally defied logic. So I get it. A calf strain is finicky. And if it grabs on you, it really neutralizes your movement. And Giannis is a superhuman athlete. He's been quiet here for going on 2 weeks, so you're hopeful, but the team has not ruled him out, and I've seen him do incredible things getting himself back on the floor.
And you know he wants to be on the floor.
Oh,
he
no doubt.
wants to be in there in game one, so hopefully so.
Looking forward to it. Game one on Sunday, 5:30. Our coverage begins here on WTMJ. 4 Democrats on the House Rules Committee are supporting House Speaker Mike Johnson's plan for votes on foreign aid measures this weekend. The vote's going to take place tomorrow. At the center of it all is a foreign aid package and the potential sale of TikTok.
The House is expected to vote this weekend on bills that would provide tens of billions of dollars more for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. Lend-lease provisions and a bill forcing the sale of TikTok are also on the table. House Speaker Mike Johnson will need the help of Democrats to get all this done and possibly to save his job. His conservative critics are furious that he's leaning on the minority to pass these measures.
That's ABC's Stephen Portnoy. So Johnson said he is willing to risk his job and, quote, do the right thing. Meanwhile, a segment of Republicans believe border security measures should be the top priority.
Another big story we're following for you on this Friday. Prepare for the devil. The devil comet, that is. Have you heard about this?
Do you need special glasses to see it?
Well, you do need something. You know what? Let me get to that, because binoculars would be ideal. Not special glasses, but binoculars would be best. This is a giant comet, more than 10 miles wide, visible in Wisconsin for the first time in more than 70 years. The prime time to see it is Sunday when it reaches its maximum brightness. It's named the Devil Comet because some astronomers say that the gas and dust it spews looks like devil horns. Doesn't that give you a great visual?
Yes. And this thing is massive, too, right?
It is huge. Yeah, 10 miles wide. But comet material is fairly dark, so some of the experts are saying unless the comet actually flares up, it can be difficult to see with the naked eye. So, Greg, when you were asking about special glasses, binoculars or even a telescope would be ideal for this.
Do you have one? Or a set of binoculars?
We have binoculars up in Door County. I don't know if we have any down here in Milwaukee. Can I borrow yours?
I do have some, as a matter of fact.
You do?
I like watching hawks in the backyard during the summertime.
Oh, look at you.
That's very soothing.
I'm glad you said you like to watch the hawks, because otherwise I just had a visual of you like peeking in through the neighbors. Like,
yeah, right.
Do they have a screaming Sicilian? Is that what they're eating for dinner
Meatloaf for dinner again? What in the world? Yes, so here we go. From the eclipse that everybody had to see to the Devil Comet. Won't be around again until 2095. We'll still be doing the Now at Noon here on WTMJ on this very program. 12:13.
Nearing retirement? Are you best prepared for your post-workforce life? Have all of your questions answered in Annex Wealth Management's latest webinar, Understanding Your Pension Potential. WTMJ's Steve Scafidi, along with Annex Wealth Management Financial Planning Team Manager Eric Strom, will cover every angle of retirement and how to best set yourself up for a successful and fruitful retirement. Sign up for this free webinar at WTMJ.com. It's the Annex Wealth Management's Pension Potential webinar, only offered here on WTMJ.
Well, it's going to be a nice weekend. That means a great opportunity to take our dog, Knight, and the kids and the family, everybody, over to the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls. We'll probably do that on Sunday, as a matter of fact. Family Day at the Hounds and Tap every Sunday. If you've not seen this 12,000 square foot facility, you must. You must hop in. Designed specifically for dogs. And much more than just a place to hang out with or without your dog. Yes, there is an amazing indoor-outdoor tavern. They got some heaters on the outside. They got all sorts of TVs outside and on the inside, as a matter of fact. So catch a game, catch a beer. Food trucks arriving when the weather is nice. Enjoy yourself. But if you just need to drop your dog off for daycare, they can help you out at the Hounds and Tap. Boarding, if you're headed out of town or of the state or country, for that matter, it's the Hounds and Tap. You just need the nails trimmed. It's the Hounds and Tap. Professional grooming services, doggy daycare, doggy boarding, a tavern, food trucks. What else do you need? It's a beautiful facility. It's in Menominee Falls, right off Silver Spring. It is absolutely gorgeous. You cannot miss it. It's the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls, where every day is a play day.
I'll say it again. Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. And what that means is wherever we go, we make it better for those in need of our services and the great people we have working with us. Our reputation matters. It matters to us, and it should matter to you. We believe that operating with integrity will set us apart from our competitors, and that this attracts people to us that share these same values. I say this because I want you to know when you work with Semper Fi, character counts. It's why you can count on the industry's hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty that now includes free annual inspections. And it's why we always have one project manager per job, which is absolutely not the industry standard. When you're paying for a brand new roof to go on what's likely the biggest investment you have, you want it done right, and you want to be able to count on the people doing it. This is Brad Youngwith with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Sunny for most of the day. Some clouds might roll in a little later on, and breezy conditions will persist with a high of 54. Overnight low of about 40. Might even dip below 40 if you're a little further inland. You could see some frost on the ground tomorrow morning. We'll top out about 50 degrees under partly cloudy skies on Saturday, 56 and sunny on Sunday. We're back into the low 60s on Monday. Next chance of rain looks to be on Tuesday of next week. It's 50 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:16. Greg and Jessica with you. It's a Friday edition of Wisconsin's Midday News on WTMJ. So we're getting to that time of the year where you start to see more billboards touting tourism to different states. You might be driving around Wisconsin and see a billboard that says Pure Michigan. Or if you're watching programming on a Saturday or Sunday, you'll see an advertisement to head to Michigan. Or perhaps something like this.
Great places, South Dakota.
Yes, from Buffalo to Mount... Thank you very much. From Buffalo to Mount Rushmore, touting everything good about South Dakota.
Most people want you to come to town, right?
They do.
I mean, think about Milwaukee right now. Visit Milwaukee, just rebranded, fresh, flavor forward. They got the new commercial. They have merchandise available for the first time. They're going to soon have the first physical visitor center at the Baird Center. They've got influencer campaigns. They are so excited about this landmark summer for tourism that we're going to have with the RNC convention, the RNC, and then you've got Top Chef. I mean, we are all about promoting our city here, and Travel Wisconsin as well, all about promoting the state. But not everybody around the world wants tourists.
Yeah, the Board of Tourism department in Amsterdam might just say, go away. We don't want you anymore. So Amsterdam, in the heart of the Netherlands, is banning construction on new hotels as a way to fight over tourism, is what they call it. So, yes, tourism is a major industry in many European countries, the Netherlands included, but they're saying enough is enough. We've had enough of you. So here's what they're doing. They're saying no to any new hotel buildings as part of its fight against mass tourism. This is according to a government statement and release on Wednesday of this week. So if a hotel goes down, then a new one can be built. But they're not adding any new hotels. In addition, they have said no to cruise ships from cruising through there and docking.
Yeah.
No, we don't want you.
Voted to close its cruise terminal last year.
So this is kind of interesting. This is not terribly common, at least I don't think that it is, but there was an ordinance that was issued in 2021 in Amsterdam. It was called the Amsterdam Tourism Imbalance. The city council is obliged to intervene when tourism numbers reach 18 million people. So if you hit that magic threshold, measures go into place to try and reduce the amount of tourists that come through Amsterdam.
And last year they did. In 2023, tourists spent about 20.7 million nights in Amsterdam, a number that doesn't include vacation rentals, bed and breakfast stays, or cruise trips. But that means that the city has to take some action.
Yes.
And it just blows my mind that, I had never even really heard of over-tourism before. But think about Amsterdam. If you've ever been, it really is a charming place.
It is.
I feel like the canals are so charming, and each one seems to have its own identity. The architecture is just awesome. You have these massive, really kind of classic-looking buildings in the heart of it. But then the homes, a lot of the homes on the canal are really tightened together and all look different. So many bicycles in the area. Everybody's riding a bike. They have a streetcar, too.
Amsterdam is absolutely gorgeous. The Netherlands is a beautiful, beautiful country. Now, I go back to 20 years ago, right? I think I went to Amsterdam when maybe about 15 years ago as part of a European trip. And the big thing then was, hey, marijuana is legal in public streets, the red light district, right, which makes Vegas look like a kindergarten, for goodness sake. I mean, the red light district is off the charts strange and bizarre, and a lot of wrong things about it, to be honest with you. But it was a draw for some, along with the fact that marijuana is legal. And you'd have coffee shops where there wasn't any coffee being served, right? Well, now we're in a different spot in the world with regard to marijuana. But last year, Amsterdam, the city council, not only did they vote to ban cruise ships, but they also banned the use of marijuana on public streets in the red light district. And that was like a staple. They're really trying to combat people who are
going for
that and maybe some of the other wrong reasons, although legal. But they're trying to, thwart tourism maybe away from the city in some regard to the other beautiful parts of the country.
You know what's interesting for, I think, people here who love a good beer, and a lot of us do, right, in Milwaukee and across Wisconsin? Over in Amsterdam, they have these cute, tiny beers in their Dutch brown cafes, as they call them. They're so small that when I was over there with my husband, we were looking at them, and I thought, what is this? It's almost like a little chaser that you get with a Bloody Mary here. It's just tiny. It's adorable. But in their Dutch brown cafes, they have these cute, tiny beers, and that's what they drink.
Yeah.
So they would be shocked to see, the steins that we get at some of our beer gardens or down on 3rd Street.
That and Heineken. Heineken in the United States, in my opinion, is not a very good beer. It's the green bottle thing. Just don't put your stuff in a green bottle and try and ship it across the world. But a Heineken from the Heineken Brewery, I'm telling you, that's a pretty tasty beer.
That's pretty cool. Also in Amsterdam, the Stroop waffles. You got to get one of those.
Yeah, that is true. It's a beautiful country, the Netherlands. It's gorgeous.
But
Amsterdam's very interesting.
If you don't want the tourism dollars, we'll take them.
Absolutely.
Come to Milwaukee
That's right.
instead. Come to Wisconsin.
And for those keeping score at home,
here's to Wisconsin's top restaurants, top shorelines, top courses, top trails, and moments like these that easily jump to the top of your must-do list. Here's to those who Wisconsin.
For the latest on Capitol Hill, tune in to CBS's chief Washington correspondent, Major Garrett.
The Republican Party is one of our two major parties. It is a structural reality in American politics. And if most voters in that party believe that charges brought against former President Trump are so illegitimate that even if he were convicted, it would make no difference to occupy the presidency of the United States, then it says something about the country and the Republican Party.
Thursdays at 3:45 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
Helping people and families seriously injured in accidents and standing up for victims to take the burden off your shoulders. Gruber Law Offices. You've seen David, you've heard the commercials, you've no doubt seen the billboards, you've probably even heard one call, that's all. Well, it's true. It's a one call, that's all sort of deal. At Gruber, no fee, no cost to call, no cost to consult or retain their firm. In fact, never a fee until they win your case. And they are one of the largest personal injury firms in the Midwest. Gruber gets results, and they've been doing it for over 35 years in Wisconsin, helping make a difference, not only in the lives of its clients, but in the community, in giving back for almost 40 years. Locally known and nationally recognized, it's Gruber Law Offices in Wisconsin, and online at gruber-law.com. Learn more about the firm, how they can help you, in addition to what they do in the community, and they do so much. It really is a pillar. Call them at 414-276-6666. Should you need them, it's 414-276-6666 for Gruber Law Offices.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
One of the best things about being in business for 25 years is having clients recommend Accunet to their now adult children for help buying their first homes. That's how I connected with Dan and Allison, and let me tell you, they were fast learners. They quickly embraced our most powerful tool for winning offers, Appraisal Wiggle Room. Their first offer was $15,000 over asking and included a provision which Accunet guaranteed they could afford to make, that they would still pay the higher offer price even if the appraised value came in up to $15,000 short. The result? Accepted offer versus several others on the very first try. And by the way, if the appraisal had come in $15,000 short, which it did not, Dan and Allison would have needed exactly $0 extra at the closing table. If you think all mortgage lenders are the same, think again.
Go with a multi-generation mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
David Nason, host of the Fix-It Show, here with my friend Chris Mancuso, owner of Accurate Basement Repair. Chris, what are some signs of basement problems that need to be addressed?
Hey, David, that's a great question. I would say wall cracks, leaning walls, dark or maybe some discolored stains across the walls. Those are really important things to look at.
As a home inspector, I see this often. Don't wait to call the experts I recommend at Accurate Basement Repair today for your free assessment. They're not just good, they're accurate.
Well, orange barrels are out along the roadways all year long nowadays, and this week the DOT is turning a spotlight onto safety through those areas. Yes, it's National Work Zone Awareness Week. Debbie Loziga explains more.
There's no such thing as construction season. There, I've said it. You only need to drive along I-43 or I-894 west of the Mitchell Interchange to experience the latest batch of work zones in our area. Work zones and highway workers are integral to upgrading and maintaining our transportation system, but it can be dangerous. National Work Zone Awareness Week is an annual reminder that work zone safety continues to be a relevant issue. Statewide Work Zone Operations Engineer for the DOT, Aaron Schwark.
On average, we have about 300 state highway and bridge improvement projects. So those can include, our local projects, municipality projects.
All of them with their own unique work zone configuration. So folks driving through them need to be on their game, paying attention. Luckily, there's a little help.
We have signs on the side of the road alerting motorists. We have drums on the side of the road to try to separate traffic from that work zone. We have concrete barrier out there to add that positive protection to increase the safety of the workers. There's a lot of things out there, so we want drivers to slow down when they're in their work zone, put their phones down, and pay attention so we can eliminate some of those crashes that may occur in our work zones.
From 2019 to 2023, Wisconsin work zones saw more than 10,000 crashes, causing 64 deaths and more than 3,800 injuries. This includes drivers and passengers, too. It's so important that there's a theme to this year's commemoration.
This year, that theme is work zones are temporary. Actions behind the wheel can last forever.
Want to help? Here are a few suggestions.
Adhere to the speed limit as they're going through that work zone. They can watch for changing conditions. In some of our work zones, we do have lane closures. Just want to make sure they're paying attention and can avoid those rear-end type crashes. And then just eliminate distractions. Make sure you're not on your phone, you're not texting, and just make sure you buckle up. Take every safety measure as you would as you're driving your car.
Yesterday, we had Go Orange Day, as we all wore orange to support work zone safety. And on Friday, the DOT is also planning to participate in a moment of silence.
It's a big national thing, and they do take a moment of silence to recognize all of the fallen workers that have been killed in our work zones and give that moment of silence so they are remembered each year.
So think of this week as just a part of the ongoing reminders to keep the work zone workers in mind.
And just think about the workers behind there, and they all have families or friends that they want to go home to at the end of the day.
Debbie Loziga, WTMJ News.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Are you looking to give your home a new look? Siding Unlimited can help with the big stuff, but there are some little things that you can do to accessorize your home until you're ready for the major improvement. Let's start with the simple. Just hanging a plant, or easier yet, setting plants in front of your home can add color and life to your home. Plants with vibrant colors and healthy growth show your home is alive and well. Replacing light fixtures will definitely give a nice change of pace and help with the night accent lighting. There are other accessories that will help give an updated look to your home, such as custom address plates or even garage door hardware that can be a simple addition that draws the eye and gives you more curb appeal. The little adjustments are nice, but you might be ready for a major improvement. There are newer styles and colors in siding products, window and doors, as well as roofing products that can make your home pop and neighbors impressed. Siding options include different looks with shake siding such as hand split, Stager edge, straight edge, perfection shingles, and natural colors that really stand out. Sometimes new windows and doors can give such an elegant look because the glass alone is so crisp and clean. Whether you try the little things or call Siding Unlimited for the bigger projects, there are different ways to give your house a new look. Sometimes it's just time for the major improvement.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for replacement windows, roofing, decks, and, of course, siding. They are the best, as acknowledged by the many rewards their suppliers have conferred upon them. Now, take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole
ABC
lot
News,
more.
I'm Michelle Franzen. Jury selection in the hush money trial of Donald Trump progressing with 4 out of 6 alternates now selected. 2 more are needed before opening statements begin. It comes after a full jury was seated and sworn in yesterday. Trump is accused of falsifying business records during his 2016 campaign so voters would not find out he paid money to adult film actress Stormy Daniels to keep quiet about their alleged affair. ABC's Aaron Katersky has more on the case.
The lawyers have also been sparring over whether former President Trump has been violating the judge's gag order by posting about witnesses. In fact, prosecutors said they would not reveal the names of their first witnesses once testimony gets underway, fearing, they said, that Trump would only verbally attack them.
The House is expected to vote on 4 separate foreign and domestic aid bills tomorrow. House Speaker Mike Johnson also facing growing calls for a recall vote. And U.S. officials say it appears Israel fired 3 missiles at Iran's defense systems overnight in retaliatory strikes. This is ABC News.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:31. A smuggling conspiracy leads to 5 prison employees resigning or being fired from Waupun Correctional Institution. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports 6 other employees are on administrative leave and have been since May of 2023. It all comes amid a probe from the U.S. Department of Justice after a DOC sweep of housing units last summer uncovered banned items including cell phones, drugs, and other contraband. No word on whether charges have been filed in the case or what type of positions the employees held at the prison.
A conservative activist investor is targeting Kohl's, upset with the company's philanthropy efforts.
The investor group is upset with the retail company's philanthropy to LGBTQ anti-suicide organizations. The National Center for Public Policy Research also criticized Kohl's Diversity and Inclusion Task Force. It's calling for shareholders to review Kohl's policy positions. The group is based out of Washington, D.C. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel says the Kohl Board of Directors now urging shareholders to reject the group's efforts in balloting before the annual meeting in May. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Well, too many kids, not enough teachers. That's what the Madison Teachers Union is dealing with. Madison Teachers, Inc. President Michael Jones tells Spanning the State they can't meet student needs.
If a kid's not feeling like they're getting the support, the individualized support they need, or they act out because they're not getting the help and they're frustrated, then there's fewer adults to support them. Then it just leads to, it's just a continuing bad cycle.
Jones says rising costs makes it harder to keep the staff they already have.
A multi-state outbreak of salmonella leaves 1 person sick in Wisconsin. The outbreak is linked to fresh basil sold at Trader Joe's stores under the brand name Infinite Herbs. There are 11 cases of salmonella across 6 states linked to this outbreak. The Wisconsin Department of Health says if you bought the contaminated basil, throw it away immediately. If you've already eaten it and you're experiencing symptoms, call a doctor right away.
Avoid outdoor burning this week. That's what the Wisconsin DNR is saying. If you want to burn, don't do it. Wisconsin DNR making the request because of elevated fire dangers. Even with the recent rains, much of the state vegetation is dead. It's also dry. This weekend stretch of warm temps and breezy conditions increases potential fire risks. Over the past week alone, the DNR responded to 122 wildfires burning nearly 340 acres. It's been the most active week of the season.
Sports, traffic, and weather next. Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:34.
Hey, John Mercure here for my friends at Dave Dregkamp Heating. When you experience temperatures 10 degrees below zero, more than 15 inches of snow, rain showers, and sunny days in the low 40s, all in a 3-week period, it can only mean one thing. You live in Wisconsin, and that prepared you to be ready for anything. Because here in Wisconsin, anything can happen with our weather. But fear not. For over 42 years, Dave Dregkamp Heating has lived here too, right by your side, ready and prepared for when anything happens. Spring, summer, fall, or winter, even when they all seem to happen at once. Whenever you're experiencing a home comfort dilemma, just call the teams I trust at Dave Dregkamp Heating. From free estimates for new equipment, routine maintenance to ensure your system is ready for anything, or because you simply have a question about your home comfort, call 262-367-2820. 262-367-2820. Dave Dregkamp Heating, because your comfort is their family's tradition. DaveDregkamp.com.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods. Now through Wednesday, save on 48-ounce selected varieties Cedar Crust ice cream, $3.99. 4-count selected varieties Chobani multi-packs, 2 for $8. 10 to 12-ounce or 10 to 12-count selected varieties Green Mountain Coffee, $8.49. 64-ounce or 8-pack selected varieties Juicy Juice, 2 for $6.
Hey, why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take the mound at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 24th.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. It's the Brewers and Cardinals tonight, game 1 of a 4-game series from St. Louis. Our coverage gets underway following the 6 o'clock news on WTMJ. Should say a 3-game series in St. Louis. Meanwhile, Giannis, questionable for Sunday's playoff opener against the Pacers in Milwaukee. Coverage gets underway at 5:30 on WTMJ. Giannis has been out for a couple of weeks with a calf strain.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic at 12:36. I-94 West at Brewers Boulevard. The right shoulder is closed due to a crash, so if you're heading that way towards American Family Field, just a heads up. I-94 West at Brewers Boulevard, right shoulder closed because of a crash.
Sunny today, very breezy as well. Not a great day to walk the ferret. We'll top out about 54 degrees overnight.
I did walk my ferret once.
You did?
Well, I once
on a
had
windy
a ferret
day?
who we walked, I should say.
Oh, he had a little leash and everything, huh?
He did.
That would be dangerous today. It's very windy out. He might blow away. Don't want that. No ferrets flying around. Low of 40 tonight. Might be a freezing temperature kind of thing inland, or might see some frost on the ground. Better way to put it. We'll dip below 40 if you are further away from the lake. Up to 50 tomorrow under partly cloudy skies. 56 and sunny on Sunday. It's 50 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:37. Frank Mansick, Jessica Time with you. It is Wisconsin's Midday News for a Friday. Your husband's a pilot. Have you ever been in the cockpit while he's been flying?
No,
That's a no-no,
never while
right?
flying. That is a no. It doesn't matter who you are. You're not supposed to be in the cockpit while people are flying. I mean, especially after 9/11. Think about it. I mean, that door is closed. If a pilot has to come out to use the restroom, a flight attendant actually goes in just to make sure everything is secure and there's two people in that cockpit. But somebody was in the cockpit recently on a United Airlines flight, somebody who should not have been there, and now the FAA is investigating. This was a Rockies charter flight, so the Colorado Rockies. And in case you're wondering, okay, charter flight, I know not everybody, is familiar. It's a lot of our teams. In fact, the Bucks are a good example of that, taking a charter flight. So you have, in the United case, I don't know exactly about the United charter flights, but typically you have a plane that's often configured differently. Not always, but in many cases, the charter plane is configured differently. So say for a team like the Bucks or the Brewers, they would have more space, right? There wouldn't be as many seats. The guys have more space. There's usually a larger bathroom as well. There's a VIP configuration oftentimes. But the one thing that doesn't change is the pilots are supposed to do exactly what they do for any other flight, right? The pilot does not operate differently than it would with normal paying passengers.
So the Rockies have triggered an FAA investigation of this United Airlines flight. Now, granted, again, it was a charter flight after a member of the coaching staff posted a video in the cockpit during the flight.
Andy's nervous.
Yeah, here's the gauges. Here's what we do.
We'll land the plane tonight.
Yeah, land the plane tonight.
Yeah.
Just
relax. Okay, we're really relaxed. Yes.
I'm glad they were, because I was not relaxed watching this. And he was getting so close to like the elements right there in the cockpit, and they're kind of joking about it. So it was on autopilot at the time, but still makes me nervous.
Exactly.
Shouldn't be
So
there.
the pilots are explaining, here's our procedure for landing. I press this button and we do this. And yeah, sounds cool. Thumbs up. Everybody having a good time. Just seeing what the pilots are up to. United does not think this is very funny at all.
No. Those two pilots, so you've got the captain and the first officer, both of those not on the job right now. Is not only United investigates this, but the FAA does too.
It's not a good look, right, for anybody involved. And I understand how it's a seemingly innocent sort of thing. Like, what happens up here? This would be kind of cool to see. These are our pilots. We have them all the time. Like, we get to know each other, right? You maybe develop a relationship, but that is just off-limits territory.
Well,
Check it out before you take off.
I was just going to say, yes, if there's time before you leave or if there's time afterwards. I mean, a lot of times, especially, you got a nice pilot in there. I mean, kids like to do that too, get a picture with the pilot or get in the captain's seat. That is one thing. But during the flight, I mean, that's just insane. The other thing that blows my mind is that the guy who got a chance to do this, I mean, they videotaped it and then he posted it on social media. This is one of those things that you think, like, if it were to happen, if you got this opportunity, though it shouldn't have happened, you wouldn't post it on social media, right?
Right. So,
I mean,
and the video has been taken down from the person who posted it. It's been taken down, but it still lives, right? I mean, it's everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's all over the place.
I put last night when I first got wind of this, I put a quick little search in X, and I just put charter flight Rockies, and then boom, I could find it. And in the post, as you mentioned, since been deleted on the Instagram one, but it said, had some fun in the cockpit on our flight from Denver to Toronto. Thanks to the captain and the first officer of our United charter that allowed me this great experience. And it's just so weird because I just think, oh my gosh, it's like he has no idea that this is wrong. And then I can't believe that the pilots allowed it to happen.
Well, that's the part, right? So maybe the coach and whoever else, there was a woman's voice in there, didn't realize that it was a significant security breach, but the pilots sure do, right? I mean, that's 101 level training.
Well, and it's weird, too, because when I think about it, I know my husband has told me in the past, I mean, he doesn't really care. He doesn't really care too much. If there's a star on board or whatever, it's just not really his thing that he gets all jazzed about. But you're just supposed to act normal and stay away from them. So this just blows my mind. I will say Nick flew the Cardinals into Milwaukee for a game against the Brewers, and I did go on that charter plane, but that was after the fact. We went on, and that actually is the flight that, Greg, you'll find this interesting too, that ended up getting canceled because the St. Louis players tested positive for COVID. That was back in July 2020. So he was flying into Milwaukee. I thought it was really neat. He doesn't usually fly into Milwaukee, so I took the dog out there. And then after the players got off, we got to go inside. Baxter, my pup, got to take a picture inside the cockpit, inside the captain's seat. But again, that was all after the fact.
We're going to get you some breaking news coming up in just a moment. In fact, right now, as a matter of fact. So breaking news from the Donald Trump hush money trial. A fire is broken out near the courthouse where Trump's trial is underway. Details are not exactly pouring in at this point, but early indications appear that somebody was on fire. A person was on fire outside the courthouse where proceedings are taking place. Again, they are in the jury selection process, trying to find alternates, and certainly a high-profile trial involving Donald Trump, the former president, in-house today, as he has been throughout the proceedings. A fire has broken out near the courthouse where Trump's trial is underway. Early indications suggest that it was a person who was on fire outside of the courthouse. We'll have more updates throughout the rest of the day here on WTMJ.
What you need to know on your drive home. Wisconsin's Afternoon News with John McCure.
Half of college grads are underemployed. What does underemployed mean?
Well, when you look at surveys, it's actually a precipitous drop in young adults that say college is worth it. So this is a major issue.
And Julia Fellow.
What can the public do for your resources? We are really encouraging foster homes right now. Just anything to get them out of that stressful environment.
3 to 6 p.m. here on WTMJ.
Wisconsin's hometown pizza is Palermo's, celebrating its 60th anniversary and doing it right in Wisconsin. 60 years. Boy, you can't make it to 60 years without doing it the right way. And Palermo's does. the best tasting frozen pizza you are going to find. The hardest part for me is figuring out which one to buy. Screamin' Sicilian, Connie's, Urban Pie, you name it. The breakfast pizza is delicious. Primo Thin, if you're looking for some mindful indulgence. It's Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza, found wherever you like to shop, including Festival Foods, Pick and Save, Sendik's, Piggly Wiggly, and Woodman's. What's for dinner tonight? What's for lunch tomorrow? Or dinner throughout the weekend and during the week? Really doesn't matter. Never a bad time for Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Why is abbreviation such a long word?
That, my friend, is one of life's unanswerable questions.
I mean, you'd think someone could make it shorter.
Oh, you mean like instead of saying buy one, get one, you can just say BOGO.
Yeah, kinda.
Through Monday at Hasselus Mattress, buy a new Sealy Posturepedic, Serta Perfect Sleeper, or Beauty Rest mattress, and we'll give you a free box spring or an equal amount off an adjustable base.
Or, in other words,
BOGO.
Right.
Plus, free next day delivery and employee-free showrooms.
You mean I don't have to deal with pushy salespeople?
No.
So I can try out all the mattresses
solo.
And through Monday, I can
BOGO.
You're a man of few words. I like that.
Buy a new Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect Sleeper and get a free box spring or an equal amount off an adjustable base. Now through Monday at Hasselus Mattress. Find a self-service showroom near you or shop online at hasselus.com.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. Brands from Carhartt to Milwaukee to Purina to Goodyear to Rapala to Levi's and a whole lot more. In store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
Each day there's a sliver of time when you can almost breathe freely. And you feel better when you can. But you know that eventually that sliver of time closes, along with your nose. It puts a damper on your day every day. So you pop a pill or you take a spray to try to get that relief back. But it's always short-lived. And all the while in your efforts to give yourself relief, you may be making your nasal breathing problems worse. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and a simple in-office procedure from Advent called balloon sinuplasty could be the fast and convenient answer to your breathing triangle problems. Advent has been a leader in this procedure, which can be hard to find elsewhere. It's simple, there's little to no downtime, and it really can be life-changing.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Breaking news just minutes after the full jury was selected in Donald Trump's New York hush money criminal trial. Someone appears to have set themselves on fire outside the courtroom.
I can smell the burning of some sort of agent being used as well as an accelerant to put that fire. I smell an actual fire extinguisher having been displayed. I see a person whose body appears to be on the ground being surrounded by officers. I have multiple officers. I've counted about a dozen officers on the scene. The fire is still burning. It's now in multiple locations. It continues to blaze. We right now have officers removing their coats, trying to surround this person to envelop their body to prevent them from further going into flames. You can smell, I'm sitting here with Evan Perez, you can smell burning flesh, you can smell an accelerant. The flames are continuing to engulf his person. I hear shouts that are coming from across the courtyard. I have multiple people running over. Another fire extinguisher being brought out. This person's body continues to be engulfed in flames.
That is CNN's Laura Coates, who's a legal analyst corresponding for CNN on the Trump hush money trial. Several barricades around the courtroom where the proceedings are taking place. They've tried to make this a very secure area, Jessica, as you'd imagine. So it took first responders and police longer than usual to get through the barricades and get to the spot where the man was set on fire. This is not a small fire that is burning. This was a major...
Word she used. I see a totally charred human being, and she said she could smell burning flesh. We knew that this was going to be a spectacle, of course, this trial, but certainly this is something that people were not expecting. And you talk about the flames. It's not like somebody, took a lighter and lit their jacket. As we are looking at some of the video here, it is just a fire in the main area. You have people around and you have benches, and then it's a huge fire there with smoke and flames, and people are incredibly disturbed. This is as jury selection was completed inside of the courtroom. So we now know a jury of 12 people and 6 alternates have been seated in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial in New York. That means with the completion of the jury selection process today, that opening statements could begin on Monday.
So this might be some repetitive audio, but just moments after this full jury panel was selected, CNN went to Laura Coates, who was corresponding outside of the courtroom. So they caught this whole event live as it was happening.
Oh, what do you say? We also are seeing an active shooter. An active shooter is in the park outside the court. We have a man who he has set fire to himself. A man has emblazoned himself outside of the courthouse just now. Our cameras are turning right now. A man has now lit himself on fire outside of the courthouse.
So this is where it gets a little repetitive, what we just said, but the break-in moment, it was a moment of panic as Laura Coates turned her attention toward the fire. She initially said active shooter. That is not the case, or not what's being reported in any way, shape, or form. It is that a man set himself on fire. Speculation is that it's a protest of some sort, but the man on fire, very descriptive language, as you mentioned, from Laura. So the scene seems to have calmed down, according to what we're seeing here on CNN Live. But this is outside or near the courthouse where Trump's trial is underway. Laura Coates, an anchor and chief legal analyst for CNN, capturing the, for lack of a better term, play-by-play of a man after he set himself on fire outside of the courthouse.
Yeah, and I'm looking right now at the scene of where that is. You have numerous police officers out there right now walking around, but you don't have the flames and the smoke that we were seeing before. Details surrounding this incident, a little unclear right now. Who exactly was this man? What was he trying to do? But the bottom line is, outside of the courthouse, near the Trump trial, we have a man who set himself on fire, and you could just see flames and a ton of dark smoke going around. CNN legal analyst Laura Coates saying she could actually smell burning flesh. How terrible.
So typically in this area, right, where the New York State Supreme Court is located, there's a heavy degree of foot traffic, as you might expect. It's New York City, millions of people, and out and about during the course of the workday. But what is different about this over any other normal day is the amount of barricades, the amount of separation there is from the building and how far people can get to it, right? I mean, it's a very secure location, and this is by design to try and control traffic. They don't want it to be a high-traffic area. And yes, there are protesters and people just going about their business.
People inside the courthouse are getting word of this as well, and they have their questions too. So Secret Service agent was noticed talking with Donald Trump in the gallery. He was standing there in the gallery. Former President Donald Trump was. Secret Service agent speaking to him. He kind of glanced over at the press pool as he walked out. So just as we are asking questions right now, the people inside of this trial, including former President Donald Trump, asking those questions too. What the heck is going on out there?
Yeah, this happening just moments after the full jury panel was selected for Trump's criminal trial. Much more on this throughout the day here on Wisconsin's Afternoon News, spanning the state, and throughout the newscasts here on WTMJ. It's 12:54.
Wisconsin's pretty big. Can just two people tell all its stories?
I don't know, but we're going to try.
I'm Kristen Bry.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and we're the hosts of Spanning the State on WTMJ.
We'll cover the news, interesting stories, and fascinating people.
From Superior to Sheboygan,
Rhinelander to Racine,
Bayfield to Bayview,
Platteville to Peshtigo, and all the points in between.
Telling stories close to you and addressing issues that impact the whole state.
It'll be fun, informative, and always about Wisconsin.
Spanning the State, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3
on WTMJ.
Well, in the heart of Milwaukee is an all-new Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Have you checked it out lately? I have. Hey, it's Greg Matzik. I want to encourage you to check out Potawatomi Casino Hotel. It's gorgeous. They have totally redesigned the fourth floor. That's where the Rock and Brews restaurant is. All sorts of table games and video games as well that you can play. 12 bars and restaurants, a winning seat, 40 table games, 3,000 slot machines. You've got bingo, full-service sports betting, and the brand new Sportsbook is coming in early May. You want to talk about a game changer. Potawatomi Sportsbook, a new era of sports betting about to begin. Explore more. See all that's new at paysbig.com. It's paysbig.com. And light up your senses at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Hope to see you there.
There are approximately 678,000 current or former employees, retirees, and beneficiaries of the Wisconsin Retirement System, covering state and local government employees, including local police, firefighters, and publicly employed teachers. Join Annex Wealth Management and WTMJ's Steve Scafidi for a special webinar, Understand Your WRS Potential, Tuesday, April 30th, 4 p.m. What does your most recent statement mean? What might you be missing? This free webinar is designed to answer your questions. Register at annexwealth.com/webinar.
WTMJ.com/events.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Wrapping up Wisconsin's Midday News for a Friday. Greg and Jessica with you. Boy, you talk about an active scene. You know, the authorities springing into action after a man was on fire, presumably set himself on fire outside the courthouse. Meanwhile, you know, not far away from the courthouse, you have anti-Israeli protests going on. Thousands are in that area, so it's a very active situation in New York, and it typically is an active city, no doubt about that, beyond people just going about their normal workday. But as the Trump trial continues in Manhattan, you've got all these other things happening, and a man has recently lit himself on fire, hopped the barricades, and was burning for what appeared to be far too long. As described. I mean, a good solid couple of minutes. And I know that may not sound like a lot of time, but my goodness, that feels like an eternity, I'm sure, to those who are trying to, you know, put out the flames and put out the fire.
Yes, 2 law enforcement sources now confirming that indeed. I mean, that's what it looked like we were seeing, but 2 law enforcement officers now confirming that a man did indeed light himself on fire outside of the courthouse where the Trump trial is underway. And this was just as basically we were learning that the full jury panel has been selected now. We thought that that was a possibility. Now that it has indeed happened, this trial with opening statements could start as early as Monday. But wow, is there a lot to go through? A lot of questions today. Who is this man who set himself on fire? Is it connected in any way? Was he protesting something? Does it have nothing to do with the Trump trial? But obviously you have a lot of security outside simply because of the Trump trial to begin with. Now you have this. It looks like the scene has settled down at this point. But at one point, just minutes ago, we saw huge flames and you saw a ton of smoke, people around there, because a man actually lit himself on fire.
More throughout the day on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Kristen and Brian are in next with Spanning the State. We'll be back on Monday with Wisconsin's Midday News. It's 12:58 on WTMJ.
Burkhardt Sporting Goods in New Berlin is the baseball lover's destination. With a massive state-of-the-art indoor training facility featuring hit tracks with precision analytics, a huge open turf area, and all the best training equipment you need. So get in here and get ready to get better. And we'll help you with this special offer. Buy 20 batting cage credits for $30. That's 25% off. This is Brian Burkhardt, and if you love baseball and softball like we do, you can't beat Burkhardt. 153rd and National. If you plan on draining buzzer beaters, the place to start is Burkhardt, where you'll find a great selection of residential basketball hoops from the best brand, Gorilla. We'll handle the installation and take care of everything to make it easy from start to finish. And right now when you buy from Burkhardt, standard hoop installation is half price. Only $250 for standard installation. You can't beat that. This is Brian Burkhardt, and when you love basketball like we do, you can't beat Burkhardt. New Berlin and Fox Point.
Carole King, one of the most beloved and successful songwriters of all time.
I feel the earth move under my feet.
The Fireside Theater presents Tony and Grammy Award-winning Beautiful, the Carole King